take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
All right, y'all, we're here. We're live. You're watching Buster Unmasked, and you know the spiel. Look, you can catch us on YouTube. You can catch us on Facebook. You can catch us on X. But most importantly, every single Thursday night, 10 p.m. Central Time, you can catch us on the Genesis TV network. Look, you can get it on the Amazon Fire Stick. You can get it on the Roku. You can go directly to Genesis TV and download the site. Free of charge, don't cost a thing. Look, you can catch us every single Thursday night at 10 p.m. Central Time, and you can catch the Wrestling with Local guys every single Sunday morning at 7 a.m. Central Time. Always Central Time for Buster Unmasked and Wrestling with the Locals. Look, guys, since we're talking Genesis TV, look, my guest tonight, this dude's done a little bit of everything there is to do in the wrestling business. Dude, he's been a wrestler. He's been a manager. He's been an owner. I'm sure he's been a booker. He's been a promoter. Look, and he is the dude, the man behind Genesis TV Network, none other than Mr. Rodney Grimes. Rodney.
Hey, how y'all doing? I want to say hi to everybody. Glad you're tuning in. Buster, I want to thank you for inviting me here on your podcast.
Dude, I've been wanting to do this one since we started, man. Since it's the first talk we had about Genesis TV, man, and going on it. Man, this was always been in the back of my mind. If it worked out and everything went smooth, this is the show I wanted to do. But look, man, before we get on Genesis, man, you got a whole litany of accolades in the wrestling business, man. So why don't you kind of take us back and tell us how Rodney Grimes even got into this wild, crazy business, dude?
Well, you know, it all started out when I was a kid. I used to watch it when it was on Channel 13. Memphis Wrestling's on Channel 13, and it amazed me. It was something I always wanted to do ever since I was a little kid. Of course, they moved over to Channel 5, WMC TV, and it was something that I always wanted to do ever since I was a kid. You might say, started learning the craft that early in life because that was something I wanted to do. And then when I graduated out of high school, I had the opportunity to go to Nashville. They had a wrestling school, USWA wrestling school, which was trained by Jeff Jarrett at that time. He was a trainer up there, and everything. But let's back up. They would run an ad on their wrestling school on USWA right. Wrestling. And then you had to fill out a questionnaire and send it in, and then they would send the stuff back, time and date and all that kind of good stuff. And it was on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. on Sunday mornings there at the Nashville Fairgrounds. So unfortunately, I worked, had a job on night shift. I'd get off, I would sleep. I get off at 7 o'clock. I sleep for about an hour and a half, and I'll go about 3 hours to Nashville. I'll work out, come back. get about 2 hours sleep, and go back to work that night. That was what I wanted to do, and that's what I did. And trained with Jeff and worked out with him. And at the same time, a guy by the name of Charlie Laird, he was there
Right.
going through school. A guy by the name of Jim Dotson. He was a big guy, muscle guy I think he wrestled as a Harris guy.
He did, man.
And then he went on to WWE. He's one of the security guards. He was good, God rest his soul.
Right.
But he was in the school with me. And at the same time, which they brought these two guys in right after we worked out, was Sir Mo and Mabel. Mo and Mabel, they come in, Rob and those guys, they would come in after we would, and then they would work out with them. Of course, they pushed them up to the top, and next thing you knew, they were on there being Harlem Nights. But went and worked out there with Jeff Jarrett and Leon Downs.
Right.
And then there's another guy by the name of Tim Kroll. Yeah, Kroll there in Nashville, good friend for them. They were also helping train with Jeff there as well, going through the school. And went through that. And so at that time, when I got out of school, I only weighed like 119 pounds. I mean, and Jeff pulled me over to the side. He said, look, he said, you got the heart. You got the heart and the mindset. You just need to get in the gym and get bulked up.
Right.
So I left there and I started lifting weights religiously, and then went from there. And then there was an organization, AIWF, here in town in Corinth, Mississippi, that was promoted by Lee and Billy Ray Cole, which was Billy Ray Hickerson, Lee, and Larry. They were promoting here in town at the Legion Building at that time. So a good friend of mine by the name of Tommy Sanders was wrestling for them at the time, and he introduced me to them. So they said, okay, come next Friday early. We'll see what you got and what you can do, and we'll go from there. So I got in the ring. Evidently, they liked what they seen. I can handle myself, pretty good. So it was about a week or two later. Memphis was doing a show in Finger, Tennessee, there at the community center. And that was back when Scott Studd, which later on been Scotty Riggs,
Right.
he was in Memphis at the time. The Moondogs was there, Nathan and Larry as the Moondogs. Bill Dundee was on there. It was a co-promoted Memphis show, and then of course Larry and them had some of their guys. So I was going to go up there just to see if I could help out with the show or whatever, just get the foot in the door, if you will, and so help me, I ended up managing Lee and Billy Ray that night, and at Finger, and my official match was supposed to be in that Friday night in my hometown American Legion Building. That was supposed to be my debut, but unfortunately things happened a little quicker, and I ended up being in a Moondog Battle Royal, and that was wild. It was an experience, and lo and behold, it was down to me and both of the Moondogs. I said, "Oh no,
oh God,
gosh!" But that's just the way, and that's just the way things. And then from there, the next night we was in Corinth, Mississippi, at the American Legion Building for them. I had my first singles match with Ron Preston, Modern Day Cowboy, and then of course I had my that was my tag match, and my first single match was against Tommy Sanders before then. So I had my singles and my tag all in the same night, and then after that it just went from there. And then I started working for everywhere I could get my foot in the door. Sammy Hall, I worked for him. I would work for Kenny Valiant. You name it, I went and I worked there just to get experience, just get my name out, And and then so later on, several years later, I started up CWA Championship Wrestling. And the way I got that name was, CWA Championship Wrestling. That used to be Memphis name. That used to be the old Memphis name, and that's where, back then we didn't have cable and stuff. It was antenna, and that was all we got was Memphis. Every once in a while you might get WCBI Channel 4 out of Columbus. You might get Continental, late on Saturday night. But Memphis was it. That's where I cut my teeth, and where I learned the craft and watched these guys like Don Dave Valiant, Idol, the Fabulous Ones, you name Terry Taylor, you name it, those guys like that. And so, Memphis and I said, well, CWA Championship Wrestling, that's what I call my company, CWA Championship Wrestling, Corinth Wrestling Association, in honor of Jerry Jarrett, what he did, maybe to carry it on, if you will. And so that's how CWA started. I started running every Saturday night at the American Legion building here in Corinth, Mississippi.
Man, hearing you tell that story, we actually got a little bit more in common than I thought, dude. Look, I was trained in Nashville by Jeff Jarrett and Tony Falk. Me and you must have just missed each other somehow, dude, because I trained with Leon, I trained with Cruel. Big Jim Harris, man, I trained with him. In my first match, the very first actual time I stepped in the ring for real, Battle Royal. It was in Joyner, Arkansas, or Luxor, Arkansas, or somewhere like that. But yeah, man, Jeff, dude, what do you think about Jeff as a trainer, man? Me personally, look, when I went there, I was a fan like you. I growed up just like you talking about. I've loved wrestling since the first day I saw it. It just hooked me immediately. And when I went there and found out Jeff was training, obviously I was a heel guy. I was a bad guy. I loved the bad guys, and I thought, well, damn. When I found out Jeff was training us, and man, it didn't take but one training session, and Jeff Jarrett, man, won me over. I got so much respect for that dude. He's one of the best ever in the business all the way around, dude.
Yes, I think highly of Jeff Jarrett, and I think highly of his dad, Jerry Jarrett, and Eddie Marlin too. I was fortunate enough to work on shows that Eddie Marlin done, in Corinth and around, and great guys, there's a lot of knowledge that you can learn from guys like that. Just sit and listen and ask questions and talk to them, and you can learn a lot just listening. Listen to guys like that. That's how I learned a lot, by just listening. Listen to all these guys, soak up the knowledge. And all, you name it, they have came through and I have worked with or has worked for me over the years.
Right, man. You got a ton of. Man, I was going through just trying to find pictures to build the flyer. And, dude, you got pictures with everybody in the wrestling business pretty much from the heyday of wrestling, dude. You've like you said, you've either worked with them or they've worked for you.
That's it. Back when Randy Hales got the developmental deal, years ago when he got the developmental deal for WWF at the time. Don Bass worked for me about every Friday night, all the time. Don Bass, I love him. He was a close friend of mine, and I miss him to today. Him, Tracy Smothers, and the list goes on. But Don Bass come up to me one Friday night at the show. He said, "Look," he said, "I think I got us a deal." He said, "It sounds pretty good." I said, "Well, okay, Donnie, what is it?" He said, "Randy has come to me, and he's fixing to get the developmental, deal with WWF." I said, "Well, that's good." He said he was wanting to know if we would use some of his talent because he had to have X amount of nights to work, X amount of dates for these guys to work in order. And I said, "Okay." I said, and he said, "Look," he said, "we'll be on TV. We'll get pushed on TV. Randy will push us. We'll get these guys." I said, "Well, that'd be good." I said, it depends on what the cost is,
Exactly.
What's the cost for these guys, there's always a cost somewhere, nothing's free in life,
Right.
And Donnie said, Donnie come back and said, "We don't have to pay them anything unless we want to." I said, "Okay, that sounds like a win-win situation." Here it was, I was getting these guys that's developmental deal with WWF, and fix, be superstars, that will be kind of pumped it up. And I said, this will be good, So we got the deal. We made the deal and everything. And of course, at that time, it was Slick Robbie D, Kurt Angle, Glenn Coco, Mick Tierney was there. There was a whole list. There's probably some more I just ain't thinking right off, man. But those guys right there, they started coming down and working working for me there, me and Donnie there in Corinth there, and then we run Corinth, we run Boonville, we run Selmer, Tennessee, Savannah with these guys. And at that time, Kurt Angle, they were wanting Kurt Angle to be groomed because they was going to push him up because they was working off that Olympic deal,
Right.
And so I had all these guys, and they all come and work for me. And Steve Bradley was another. Steve Bradley, I would thought he would make it. I always said when I was watching these guys that Kurt Angle and Steve Bradley will be one of your main event matches in WrestleMania.
Man, both of them. I mean, obviously Kurt Angle, but Steve Bradley was off the charts, dude. He was super talented all the way around. He could wrestle. He had charisma.
Yep.
He understood what wrestling is about, man. Super talented guy, man. I hated to hear when he passed the way, especially the way he did, man. I hated to hear that, man, because to me, he was a can't miss prospect almost, man.
He was. He sure was. He was real good. I like Steve Bradley. He was a real good friend of mine. And Kurt Angle. I love Kurt Angle. He was good. But Steve Bradley and Kurt Angle, I always said that would be one of your WrestleMania matches. Because them guys, they could go. They could go, And so and look, hey, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes has worked for me before. Road Warrior Animal, Tracy Smothers, real good friend of mine. Tracy, I love him to death. I miss him every day. Tracy Smothers, of course, Don Bass, Rock and Roll Express, man, Buff Bagwell, Jerry Lawler, Bill Dundee. I love Bill Dundee, man. You can't beat the superstar, ever since I was a kid. I never forget when I was a little kid, we was in Tupelo. They used to wrestle in Tupelo there. And Dundee was there. I had my cowboy boots on and all that. He picked me up. And he asked me how I was doing. He asked me if I could ride horses. I said, yeah. And I rode horses, back then, when I was a kid, on horse shows and stuff. And he asked me, he said, I tell you what, he said, you teach me how to ride a horse and I'll teach you how to wrestle. Well, I'm still waiting for him to teach me how to wrestle. But just stuff like that. I remember, when I was a kid that, these guys, took time. And Steve Kern. Steve Kern would come in like to Boonville, to Northeast Community College. They would have wrestling there years ago. And Steve Kern, I would talk to him when I was a kid. And he took time, he took time out to talk and talk. And talking about Steve Kern, he's going to be coming in here in a few weeks to that VIP wrestling too, coming up for in Tupelo. So
Tupelo, I seen that. That's a stacked card all the way around, man. That card's going to be stacked. Of course, they do that. What do they do that once a year, every year?
Yeah, it's once a year. They have the Tupelo con that day, and we'll be set up that day. Steve Kern is coming in, the Fabulous One. He's coming in. Genesis TV is bringing him in, so we're bringing him in, and Downtown Brutal, they'll be there, and of course Austin Knight will be there as well. They'll be there that whole day, and then that night starting at 6:30, the doors are open for the wrestling, and then it starts at 7:30 that night. And hey, look, it's a stacked card, there it is. Yeah, there it is. You got Butterbean's going to be there. Professional boxer, you got Trace Hunt, you got D.D. Taylor, you got the Fabulous One Steve Kern, you got Austin Idol, you got the front row with Justin Klein, you got Hollywood Jimmy, you got Derek King going to be there. It's going to be a stacked card that night, and invite everybody. Get your tickets now at they're online at VIPChampionshipWrestling.com, and pick your tickets up and get them and come on down. It's going to be a big night. It's going to be huge, and I'm looking forward to it.
Right, man. Right there, right in the front and center, you got one of the hottest young stars around our area, Marco Harris. Dude.
Marco Harris, yes, he is. He's really good. He really is,
man.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
He's one of these guys that I think if you don't watch out in the next 3 years, within 3 years, man, you're going to see him on some big shows, man.
He's got a lot of talent. He's a talented guy. He really does. And he could go somewhere. He could really go somewhere.
And he takes it serious, man. Look, yes. First time I seen Marco was a couple years ago when he first started. He was good in the ring, but he was just a skinny kid, no physique, nothing really. Man, you can tell over the 2 years or so he's been in the business, man. He takes it serious. He takes his his look serious. He takes the in-ring serious. He's a talented young guy. He's one of the biggest, best, hottest prospects around our territory right now.
Yeah, he is. He's really good. Trace Hunt, he's good. He's really doing well for himself. And of course, Derek King will be there. You know, Derek King, he started out. You know, he got one of his starts there in Corinth. Him and Blade Boudreaux and Bulldog Reigns, Lance Jade, a bunch of those guys. You know, years ago, right there in Corinth, Mississippi, on Friday nights.
Whatever happened to Lance Jade, man? I know about Blade, obviously Derek and all that, but whatever happened to Jade, man?
Lance Jade, he's in Florida.
Okay.
He's in Florida now. He's doing real well. He's married, and he's doing real good. Lance Jade is. I talk to him every once in a while on Facebook. He's real good. He's doing real good. Lance is. I really like Lance. He's good. I like all the guys. You know, I always liked them. They always did well for me. They gave it 110% in the ring. Can't ask for more.
Right. And Derek, I got Derek on tomorrow night. He's actually on tomorrow night, right after you're on. And I got Trace coming on here in a couple of weeks. I don't remember the exact date, but I got Trace coming on the show. Like I said, he's another guy, man. He's making waves in our area, man, in the wrestling business. Big time in EPW. And he's all over the place, really.
Yeah, and that's good, branching out. You know, I like that. I like that, getting your name out. That's good. That's real good.
Well, let me ask you something, Rodney, before we kind of switch gears and go to Genesis TV, because I know once we get there, we're going to be there a little while. What's your assessment? What do you think about the wrestling scene around our area, modern wrestling scene today?
Well, there's, you know, there's a lot going on, you know.
Right.
A lot going on. You've got, you got Dustin Starr with the Memphis Wrestling there in Memphis. You've got, well, it used to be Johnny Dodson, but I think he sold out Bluff City Wrestling, but you still got those guys. You got the 901 Wrestling there in Memphis. And, you got EPW in Boonville. You got TIWF. You got a lot of shows. And then you got MIW on Friday night there. Grady Watson and them in Middleton. And you got a lot of shows around and all. And they're doing pretty well, seem like, for themselves. Well,
let me ask you this, Rodney. As a promoter, as a owner and a promoter yourself, have you ever seen where there was just so many companies running around the same 200-mile radius like there is today?
No.
Do you think
Not
it?
really.
Let me ask you this: do you think it's good for the business, or do you think it kind of sometimes it hurts the business with so many companies trying to run the same area?
Well, I mean, it's good if you're a worker and you want to learn. You know,
right?
You go here and go there. As far as promoting wise, it is. To me, I would want to be different than anybody else. I'd want to stand out, and in order to do that, you have to have different talent. You have to do different. You know what I mean? And it will be hard because you got all these promotions here. You got this one working here, this one working there, and that. You could use them, but you would have to bring in something different in order to be different. Okay, talking about that, you have some of these shows. Some of them charge $7, $8, $10, $12. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, if you can do that, that's good. But if you come in with a show and you have that thing stacked, I mean, you have some talent that you bring in, and it's not no free, it's not no $10, $20 guys. You know what I mean? It's talent, and you bring it in. And of course, you have to charge more in order to make money, to break even. You have to charge more. And a lot of the fans today, they say, well, why do we want to pay $15, $20+ to watch wrestling when we can go be entertained for $5 and $8 and $10?
Right. And the thing I see too, Rodney, is here's the thing about that. A lot of these guys, same guys, work all these different shows, and one show they're over here for $10. The next show they're over here for $5. Well, like you said, the people who like if they wanted to see that specific talent, they're like, well,
Right.
why don't I just go to this $5 show instead of this
Yeah,
$10
yeah,
show?
yeah. I mean,
You know?
I don't blame the workers, the guys.
No.
I don't blame them, because when I started out, I went and worked everywhere I could. I didn't ask for no money, because I was getting my experience. That's what I wanted, you know. And then I got built up. Like, that's how I got built up. I worked everywhere. I didn't ask for that. I didn't ask for no money or nothing, because I was going to get my money's worth with experience and knowledge in the ring and in the dressing room and watching and learning. You can learn a lot by doing that, you know.
Right.
And I don't blame the guys one bit, you know, for going and working as many times as they can. Really, this day and time around here, it's like a weekend. It's a weekend deal, you know.
Right.
Back years ago, you could work 4 or 5 nights a week and learn and hone your craft. You know, now you don't. You're limited unless you do a lot of traveling, and there's not a lot of shows that runs through the week unless you get your big, your WWEs or your TNAs and your AEWs and guys like that, you know.
Yeah, I think probably Terry Golden with Memphis Championship Wrestling
Mhm.
was probably the last show to work people 3-4 nights a week every
Yeah.
week, you know,
Mhm.
plus TV tapings. It makes a difference when guys are able to work on a regular basis. You learn
Yeah.
so much faster
Mhm.
when you just work on the weekends. I mean, you can learn, but man, if you're working minimum of 3 nights a week or more, you can double your learning in half the time, man. You can learn so much more, so much faster. The more you work, you get more comfortable in the ring. It starts becoming second nature to you, you know.
Yeah, most definitely, you know, and work. My thing, I always wanted to work somebody different, because everybody's different in the ring, and you learn every
Right.
time you get in the ring. You learn something. If you get in the ring and you don't learn anything, you need to step back and evaluate yourself, because every time you get in the ring, if some little old something you're going to learn. It might be something as simple as the crowd, or the way you position yourself. You know, a lot of times, you know, I hardly ever go back and watch myself on video, but when I do, I watch how my body is, my positioning, the moves, how everything, just not only the match itself, but how I am positioned in the ring.
Right.
It's just that's how I live. But I hardly ever watch myself on video. Every once in a while, it might be a year or two later, I go back and watch that match, and I look at something. I say, well, this looks good. You know, I think it looks good, and then I don't do it no more. I try not to do that no more. You know.
Right. Well, let me ask you this before we
Okay.
go on to Genesis.
Mhm.
Look, man, before we go on to Genesis, you've done everything. You've, like I said, you've wrestled, managed, owned, promoted. I'm assuming during all these years, somewhere down the line, you probably did some booking.
Oh yeah, yeah. Mhm.
What do you like best in the wrestling business? What's your favorite position in the wrestling business? What part of that, out of all those things, which one do you really love the most?
That I really love.
Right, the most.
I love promoting. I love promoting. I love promoting, and booking. Booking is good. You know, I like booking. Uh, it could, but I love getting in the ring. You know, I love
Right.
getting. I don't get in the ring as much as I used to, but every once in a while I get in the ring. You know, when it means something. You know, or what have you. You know, I might get in there, but I love getting in the ring, and I love being in front of the fans. You
Right.
know, but I would say promoting and wrestling, be second. I would guess on that. Uh, things is not like they used to be years ago.
Right.
The business isn't. Uh, and I just, my main, going back and all through the years, you stop and think. My main crew of heels was Don Bass, Brickhouse Brown, Tracy Smothers. You know, he could go, either way,
Right.
baby. Tracy Smothers, and then you got Big Hoss Williams and Soul Taker and Romeo. There was a guy named Romeo Valentine that Donnie trained, and believe it or not, that Dustin Starr, Alex Crisis, Simon Reed, Jet Logan, they all got their first match right there in the car. And Donnie trained them. Donnie says, "Hey, I got some guys that's going to be ready ready for the ring." He said, "Can you use them?" I said, "Yeah, send them up." So the next Friday night, they had their first. They were called Sex and Violence. I never forget them. Sex and Violence. It was Crisis and Dustin Starr and Simon, and of course Jet Logan. He wrestled, babyface. He was real good. He was a good talented worker too. Jet Logan was. I really liked him, and
Right.
like all of them. All of them were real good.
Look, we got a comment on deck with Titanic says, "What's up, guys?" That's actually one of the Wrestling with Local guys.
Mhm.
Catch them 7 a.m. Sunday morning Central Time on the Genesis TV network. So let's talk Genesis TV now. Look, man, you like I said, you've done everything there is to do in the wrestling business. What possessed you to start Genesis TV network, man? Talk to me about what brought this, where this come from, man. Was it just the natural progression?
It was a couple of years. It was about 2.5 years ago. I had been watching how the internet and how streaming was fixing to start unfolding, and I said, that's going to be, and it still is revolving now. That is the main source of way of entertainment that a lot of fans and a lot of people get nowadays, is they stream it. Years ago, you would think you had TV stations, and you still do got TV stations and stuff, and they were big. But streaming is taking over cable and satellite, and I said, okay, this is a way that if I work this right and do it right, it will be something very, very good, and it'll be something worth putting a lot of time and money in.
Right.
And you've got so many potentials when you have that tool of getting, like your podcast, like sometimes we do a 24-hour Sunday Slam where we a lot of the and it's there to get everybody out, get you out further, where you can be seen, where you get your eyes on your product, if you will. And I said, this is something that I want to get into, and I want to try, and I want to make a go of it. And so far, it's really doing well. It is growing every day, and I promote it and I push it, and you guys do too. And I thank everybody for doing that.
Yeah, it's a cool thing for us. Here's the thing. I'm in the same position. Before, when I first started this, everything was on YouTube. Mm-hmm. So it's the same position, only you're on TV. You have the streaming, but it's all about content.
Yeah.
We need exposure. Genesis TV needs content, because that's what fuels the whole thing. And here's the thing, like you said, man, I had a conversation with a guy today about TV time and ratings, wrestling ratings on TV, and TV's not what it used to be, man. If you're under 20 years old, people under 20 years old very watch TV. They watch everything on their phones and stuff like that. They never watch TV. My kids, my two oldest, are 13 and 14. And even if they're watching TV, it's YouTube or something like that. It's never regular TV anymore whatsoever, dude.
No, it's not, and you're talking about content. Yeah. You want to have as much content, but you want to be different. You want something different. You know what I'm saying? Something that you can offer that they don't get on YouTube, that they don't get on this, that that's kind of exclusive just for you. You know what I mean? And I think that's what's gonna stand us out from everybody else. That's what's gonna counterpart Genesis TV network, because we got a lot of got a lot of stuff coming up that I'm working on now. I'm working on the my own TV show, actually, where I'll be interviewing guys, live,
Right.
the crime show. I got that coming up. That's probably going to start within a month or so.
That's
Working
cool.
on that now. I did some filming last year when I was in Vegas at the Cauliflower Alley Club. I go out there the past few years, and it's really nice. They do a good job, and it's good for a good cause. Went out there and did some filming there, and we're going to do some more filming in Tupelo, and also got the Fan Fest 2 coming up in St. Louis. We're going to be there.
I actually got a graphic for that. It's the, what is it? The SICW's putting it on.
Yeah. Herb Simmons has got that, and last year was the first year, and this is year number 2, and man, it is huge. You ought to see some of the guys on there.
I have, man. They have been loading this show with guys, dude. Every time I turn around, I see a new flyer of a new guy.
Yeah, I mean, and it's there at the Avatar Hotel and Ballroom there in St. Louis. It's Fan Fest 2, and Herb Simmons, man, he has got this thing stacked. I mean, he's got Downtown Bruno's going to be there. He's got Tommy Rich, Doug Gilbert, Sergeant Slaughter's going to be there, Abdullah the Butcher. Tommy Rich is going to be there. Man, it's Stan Hansen. He's got some of the ladies of Glow Wrestling is going to be there. Man, Rock and Roll Express, Handsome Jimmy, man, you name them. They're going to be there. Dr. D. David Schultz, man, I'd go on and on. But it's going to be right there. It is going to be in May 17th and 18th. I think the 17th, that Friday night, they're going to kick it off with Bill Apner with the one-man show that he does. Bill is a great guy. I love Bill Apner. I got to meet him a couple of years ago in Charlotte there at the gathering. He's real good. And I'm telling you, be there Friday for that. And then Saturday, it kicks off with a Fan Fest. And, man, it is going to be huge. Genesis TV Network's going to be there. We have a sponsor, help getting the word out. Man, it is going to be huge there. Get your tickets now at the website and pick them up and make plans to join us in St. Louis.
Yeah, it's going to be a big show, dude. I'm a little jealous, man. If there's one guy that I ever would love to meet in the wrestling business, Dr. D, man. I do.
Yeah,
for me,
David Schultz. Mm-hmm.
Man, for me, he is what every wrestler should aspire to be. I mean, really, Dr. D, man, I love that dude. When I was a little too young to see some of his older stuff, but man, early 80s, Memphis, obviously WWF at the time. Man, especially back in that time, you needed wrestlers who were badasses, truthfully. I mean, honestly.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
And Dr. D was one of the most intimidating, coolest guys that I ever seen. He's one of the first guys that I was drawn to in the wrestling business. I thought, man, that's the guy right there. He's a badass. As a little kid, I thought that, man. I thought he was a badass, and I'm a little jealous of that, man. That's the one dude that I would love to meet in the wrestling business is Dr. D, man.
Yeah, and you know what? He's tough, and still to this day he's still tough. I guarantee he can hold his own. And back then, I tell you some guys that I really like. I like Don and Al Green. They were always tough. I tell you what, Dennis Condrey and Phil Hickerson.
Right.
Man, they were tough, and they could go, and guys like that. They really, really, really did. I mean, they toted the tote and walked the walk, if you will, and it was really, those were the good old days.
Oh yeah, for me. That's the golden era of pro wrestling for me, man. It was Dennis Condrey, Phil Hickerson too. Both awesome in the fucking ring, but to me, Dennis Condrey is absolutely one of the best workers, wrestlers, whatever, personas. I used to love Dennis Condrey, man. I like Bobby Eaton. I love Bobby Eaton.
Beautiful Bobby, yes. Mm-hmm.
As the Midnight, but I'll be honest with you, I like Condrey and Eaton best as the Midnight Express,
Yeah. I'm going to tell you what, Bobby Eaton was good when he teamed up with Coco Ware, Sweet Brown Sugar in Memphis. Now, they were a heck of a tag team. They were good. And before they went to Memphis, they used to have wrestling when I was a kid there at the American Legion building in Carran. Alan Levon Stone ran it, and William Stone wrestled for him, and then of course Allen wrestled some for him. But they had Coco Ware and Bobby Eaton come in. They got one of their first starts there in Corinth for Levon Stone. And also there was Rooster Cogburn, there was Jack Lawler, and there was, Red Shadow and all those guys there. But I got to watch them before they went to Memphis. And when they went to Memphis, it was sky's the limit. They just went on from there. I mean, it was amazing, watching them as a kid. And then next thing you know, there they are on Channel 5 TV wrestling. And then their careers just went. They just rocket.
Man, Coco Ware, look, I've been going through a bunch of old Memphis tapes, man, and I done forgot how good Coco really was before he went to the WWF, man. Coco was one of the very best, period, around our area at the time, man. He could do it all. He could wrestle, he could fly, and he was tough too, man. He could bump, he could do everything, man. Coco's highly underrated in his younger days before the Birdman.
He is, and Bob, he could do a drop kick. Man, it looked like he's floating in the air. Man, he had one of the most awesome drop kicks.
And it was pretty too, man. It had a spring to it. It had even when he kicked the guy, it had a nice snap to it, man. One of the very best, dude. And like I said, I've been going through some old Memphis stuff, and I got to watching Coco. And I thought, man, I got to remembering this stuff from when I was a kid, man. And I thought, man, this dude was great, man. He was great. That you see why WWE wanted him, or WWF at the time wanted him, because
most definitely.
He was as good as anybody, period, at that time, man. There's no doubt about it. And Bobby Eaton's a legend everywhere, man.
Bobby's good. He was good as gold too.
You know a lot about wrestling, and I'm dying to ask you this. Not just you, just anybody. Okay, do you remember when Jimmy Hart turned on Bobby Eaton? And Bobby Eaton goes out on TV, and he's cutting a promo, and he's mad, and he calls Jimmy Hart a pussy lip.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. He couldn't do that today, no. But yeah, I remember that.
I don't think he was supposed to do it then, because you could tell right after he done it, you could tell for a split half a second he was like, but he just kept on going. Dude, I'm glad somebody else remembers that, because I was beginning to think I was crazy that I just imagined that, dude.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I tell you something that for years ago when we was running car. Don Bass, he had the Bass's posse, and he coming in, he's running roughshod over everybody, over me, and everything. So I had a title match, here in my hometown of Corinth, Mississippi, me against Don Bass. He had the AIWF heavyweight title. All right, so we had the match, and started making my comeback and all that, and starting to get going. The manager got up on the edge of the ring. Honest John, God rest his soul, he was real good. I love Honest. He got up on that. I got up on the ring, throw Donnie the chain, bam, hit me, boom. All right, so I got on the mic, and I told Donnie, I said, look, I know I can beat you. I almost beat you tonight. If it hadn't been for outside interference, I could have been the next champion. Of course, I was a small guy, and local guy, and everybody was behind me, and push. So him and Honest John, they were out on the floor, and they were looking at each other, and Donnie got on the mic. He said, okay. He said, you can have a match next week, but you got to put something up. And I said, yeah, okay, all right. What do you want me to put up, Donnie? And Donnie says, okay. Next week, of course, at that time I had a 92 white Ford Ranger pickup truck. He said, you got to put your truck up. I hesitated and thought for a minute. And I said, okay, I'll put my truck up for a shot at that belt right there, because I know I can beat you, because I almost did. And Donnie got the thing, and he said, no, that ain't good enough. He said, not only you got to put your truck up, but he said, I want you to put your house up.
Damn. Getting deep, man. It's getting deep.
I got to thinking, this title match here, I'm going to win that belt for it's going to cost me a lot of money, So I said, okay, I'll put my truck up. I'll put my house up for a shot at that belt next Friday night, I know I can beat you, because I almost did, And he stopped and for a minute. He said, no. He said, that ain't good enough. That ain't good enough. He said, not only I want you to put your truck up, not only I want you to put your house up, but see, my mom, she worked in the concession stand. Everybody loved Mama, you know, my mom did, you know.
Right.
And she said, you got to put your mama's hair up.
That's one step further than your old ladies, ain't it?
Yeah, I said, I don't know. I looked over and, you know, in the crowd, you know, they were reacting, you know, no, don't do it. Don't do it or whatever. And I said, okay, next Friday night, I'll put my 92 Ford Ranger pickup, my house, and Mama's hair up. All right, so we set it up for that. So next Friday night we come back and it was packed. We packed that thing out, but it was really packed. They wanted to see what was going to happen, if I was going to win that belt or if I was going to lose my house, my truck, and Mama's head was going to get shaved. They didn't want to see Mama. They loved Mama, you know. They didn't want to. So next Friday we got in there, started making my comeback. Boom, boom, boom. Honest got up on the ring apron again. I went to him. Donnie got the bandana that he always wore out, wrapped it around my throat, was choking me, and I was just, you know, trying to gasp for breath, you know, trying to get that bandana out for where I could breathe. So Mama comes out of the concession stand with a purse, nails Donnie. Of course, the referee is with Honest to get Honest down, you know. Hits Donnie in the back of the head. Donnie falls down. I just drapes down on top of Donnie. The referee turns around. Boom, there I am. I'm just draped over him. 1, 2, 3. I win the belt. Okay. Mama's still in the ring. So I got up. Donnie makes his way up. Donnie nails me, shoots me out, and I go outside. Mama's in the ring with Donnie and Honest. Uh-oh. Crowd was going crazy. I was going crazy. So they grabbed Mama and they pile drive my mom.
Oh, no.
They pile drive Mama. Uh-oh. You talking about the fans going wild and crazy. Here I was making it up on the edge of the apron. And I looked, and there was a guy named Cuz. He was a homeless guy. They always brought him and paid it, you know, paid for him to get in. But Cuz had a long trench coat. He pulled out a knife yay long. I don't know how he had a knife that long. He was fixing to cut Donnie, and those people were mad at Donnie. And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" You know, if
Really?
Donnie gets out of the ring, he might not make it to the hospital. You know, and so later, you know, they finally got out and got to the back, you know, and everything, and we got Mama took, you know, seen about whatever. So the next week, I brought Doug Gilbert in, and then we built up from there, bringing Gilbert and Rich in, which I managed them some when they were tag team champions when they come around here and wrestled PG-13 and them. So I brought them in, and then we had that brawl where we fought everywhere, where you could see it on the channel and stuff. Man, it was a little sweet revenge, if you will, that we got.
Right.
On that, but you know, we built that up, and man, it was huge. But you know, stuff like that, you know, you don't see today because you can't do stuff like that today.
That's what I was just fixing to say, man. You can't really get.
No,
I don't even know. You can't really get heat no more. Real heat that's good, man. And wrestling was a lot more dangerous back then too, man.
Oh, yeah.
You could get cut. You could get cut easily, man.
Easy. Yeah,
and
most definitely.
Especially in a small local town with local people involved, and your mama running the concession stand, man. It's a wonder. It's a wonder the minute they touched your mom that the fans didn't hit the ring right then, man.
Oh man, it was wild. I mean, I wished I had that on film. I mean, I wished I could go back and see that, because it was something. If we did that on TV and we done the Coliseum, we would have sold it out the way we done that.
Right.
I mean, it would have been something that, I mean, no doubt. I mean, hands down, that was heat. You know, that was real heat. That was what people would pay money to see. You know, they would want to see. They would want to see me get my revenge. They would want to see me, the underdog. You know, the small guy. You know, they want to see him, you know, get his revenge off of Don Bass and all his crones and guys, you know, he's got.
Yeah, it's hard to it's hard to do wrestling the right way nowadays for the simple fact that heels can't go out and get heat like heels have done since wrestling started, man.
No.
It's hard, man. And fans, man, I'll be honest with you, I see them, man. A lot of them are just way too sensitive about stuff that we'd have never thought twice about, dude. Ever. It really, to me, it hampers the wrestling product. It hampers the guys, especially the heels, because, I mean, if you're a good heel that can get good real heat, it's one thing to go get heat by messing with the fans. But Bill Dundee, he told me, he said, look, he said, a good heel gets his heat by what he does to his opponent.
Right.
This guy gets good heat. He said, anybody can go out there and call a fan fat or toothless and get heat from it, get a reaction. But a real heel gets heat. The best heat you get off of what you do to your opponent, make the fans have sympathy for this guy, man. And it's hard to do that nowadays, dude.
No, you just can't. And then it goes all the way back around. And then it goes back around to, we got the internet, and then you've got this one knowing this one, and it's just not close knit like it was back then. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not. I mean, there's too much out there. I mean,
even when I broke in stuff, if you had heat with somebody, it stayed in the business. It wasn't out. It never got out to the fans or nothing. It stayed behind closed doors, and you either worked it out or you avoided each other.
Yeah. I mean,
look, talking about Don Bass, when I got out of training, the first place they sent me and my brother was to Don Bass, because they knew we lived in Helena, Arkansas, and we'd drive from there all the way to Nashville. So when after we got done and they knew I was ready and stuff, they first place they sent us was to Don Bass, and the first thing we did was met Don Bass at the Iron Skillet in West Memphis, and then we went out to his place in Jericho to that tin shed with the ring that wasn't nothing but concrete and carpet
on the ground.
Dude. We're in there, and he's got me and my brother body slamming each other on this ring, and there ain't no give to this thing. If you bounce, that's your body bouncing, dude. I loved a lot of Donnie's training, man. He used to do some different stuff, man. He'd take a sock and tie it in a knot and take 4 of the guys and put them in each corner if there were 4. If not, however many there were, he'd put you in each turnbuckle on your hands and knees, and he'd throw that thing in the middle of the ring, and you all had to scramble for it for real and try to get it and get across to the other turnbuckle.
Yeah.
Dude, he's the only guy I ever seen do stuff like that in training, and I loved it. I thought, man, this is great right here, man. I mean, you had to really, it wasn't like we were working. It was just a fight. You wasn't hitting each other, but if you got a hold of that sock, man, you could bite it, do whatever. You tried to keep it and get over your turnbuckle, man. It was good, man. And another thing, Don Bass told me and my brother both early on, because when I first started, I had stage fright. I get super nervous, and the longer I had to think about a match, the more I would overthink it and get more nervous. And Don one day told us, he said, you got to work on your nerves. You got to get past the stage fright. He said, but if you ever lose the nerves, then you might as well get out, because you don't care about it no more.
Right.
If you're not nervous before every match, he said, look, long as I've been doing this, I still got butterflies in my belly right now because I care. And that was a piece of advice. That and Bill Dundee's advice about heat, man, both of those things stuck with me from the second I heard them, dude, the whole time. Don was a talented guy too, man.
Donnie was, and he's another one that should get more credit in what he did, because he done a lot. He went a lot of places, over Africa, everywhere. I mean, he done a lot, and he was a good guy. And you know what? We would be in the ring, and it would be 15, 20 plus minutes. We wouldn't even touch anybody, and the crowd would be up. It would be a Donnie. I mean, working with somebody like that. We wouldn't even touch anybody. Wouldn't even lock up. And the crowd would, it's just how we worked. We didn't have to lock. We had the crowd, and it's amazing, in wrestling when you get in the ring, when you have the people in the palm of your hands. Either you can have them loving you or you can have them hating you, and it's the most amazing feeling that you could ever have, and that adrenaline rush after. The adrenaline
Right,
rush
man.
after a match, it's like no other drug. You hear people talk about it, but it's honestly, it's no other drug. You can't get a drug like that adrenaline rush. You can't get it. You can't find it nowhere. It's a unique.
Right. I always thought, man, that to me, that's the most satisfying part about wrestling. Like you said, you go out there, you kind of have an idea of what y'all are trying, what you're going for, the story you're telling. You go out there in the ring, man, and look, when you're young, you don't think about it. But as you get more experience, then you start noticing what's going on with the people more. And man, you ought to be doing anything in that match, man. You ought to have a guy in a reverse chin lock, just setting it down for a minute, and you got to noticing these people, and you think one day it'll hit you. We got them right where we want them. They are right exactly where we wanted them to be at right this second, dude.
Yep, and you can work it either way. Either way, work it, because you got them right here in the palm of your hand, and it's an amazing feeling. It is something that I don't know. I could sit here and talk about it, but it's an amazing feeling, and I've always because either side of the fence, I could get them. I could have them love me or I could have them hate me. It's just most either you're a baby face or you're a heel. That's it. But I've been able to do either one, and I learned that from when I was a kid. When I started learning the craft, and on up, and plumb on up to I got into the ring. I watch and I learn and I look and I listen and I see things and I pick up on stuff very quick. Which either you got it or you don't. I mean, basically that's it. And
I kind of feel the same. Look, you can teach guys how to do the moves,
yeah.
but you can't really never teach them how to go out there and engage the people. It's kind of a natural thing. You either, like you said, you kind of either are able to do it or you're not able to do it.
I can go out there and I can look. I don't have to say anything. I can look and they see the expression on my face and I can get a reaction off of it. And that's amazing. A lot of people can't do that. A lot of them just do it.
Well, you're saying that. I don't think a lot of people, especially now, realize that it's not just what you do in that ring. It's every single thing you do, from your music to the minute you break that curtain, your attitude as you walk. Look, when Golden had the Memphis Championship Wrestling deal and we switched from KAW, for some reason, night after night, Golden would switch me and Ron. We'd be baby faces one night, heels the next. Baby faces one night, heels the next. We'd be babies on TV, go to Manila or somewhere at night and have to be heels. And people could expect a baby face and they could pop for us when we broke out of the dressing room.
Right.
But by the time we made it to the ring without ever saying a word, just with the attitude, people would start booing already. You would start, yes, man. And I don't think guys really take into consideration it's your mannerisms, it's your movements, it's the attitude that they can feel coming off of you too.
Right. It's how you hold yourself, how you walk, exactly. Just everything you said. That's what it, and that's a big part of it. And fortunately, some's got it and some they don't. It's just something that. Either you got it or you don't.
Well, look, dude, let's talk a little bit more about Genesis.
Yeah, man, yeah.
Let me ask you this: when you first had the idea for this, because y'all don't just have wrestling, y'all have old shows, Gomer Pyle, Lucy, all kind of different stuff. You got old Saturday morning cartoons, you got old westerns, some action movies. Some of this stuff's not really that old either. Y'all got some movies that are pretty modern, but when you first started this, was that the idea, or was it the genesis of it maybe being a 24-hour-a-day wrestling network almost?
No, it was to have a little bit of it all. Movies, TV shows, sports, and wrestling, to have a little bit of it all, to have a variety for anybody that would come and watch. There would be something on there for anybody, anybody that, no matter what they wanted to say,
right.
Movies, shows or wrestling or what have you. Before too long, we're gonna have some wrestling on demand where it won't be on the live channel, but they can go and they can have some old CWA shows from years ago from TV. When I done TV years ago on the local cable channels and stuff, we'll have that and all kind of other stuff. Maybe try to get some podcast on there where people can go and they can watch it. Whenever they want to.
That's the thing I get asked most about Genesis TV. Are they ever going to put the wrestling in the podcast on demand?
Oh yeah,
because
yeah.
I mean, you know how TV is now.
Mhm.
Now it's any kind of streaming channel, whatever. People want it when they want it. You ain't always got time to be there at 10 o'clock or 7 a.m. People want to be able to click it on, and if it's already aired, watch it when they want to from that point on. And
Right.
I think that'll really be cool, man, to get everything on demand. I think that'll really help a lot. And here's the thing, at least with wrestling, you're going to get an audience. At least with wrestling, it's going to bring a certain amount of eyes to the wrestling, but hopefully the other things you offer, because it ain't been that long ago, man. I just watched Damnation Alley at midnight one night on Genesis, man. I hadn't seen it since I was a kid, man, and I watched every bit of it, dude. A lot of good stuff on the channel, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff, and we're adding stuff daily to it. Different stuff. We're adding new content, and all. Like I said, we got. I'm gonna have my own show that's fixing to start up, the Rodney Grimes Show, and Wrestling Today. We're going to start having more episodes of Wrestling Today with John Seymour hosting that we're going to have that. And of course, we're going to do another Sunday Slam here before too long, too, as well. If any of the promotions would like to be on there, it doesn't cost anything. It's my way of giving back to help promote your product and get the word out, But we're going to be doing that here in the next month or so. We'll be doing that again. And I got all kind of things in the works that we will be doing and looking forward to,
Well, let me ask you this, man. When you got the concept in your head, and then once you started putting it into motion, has it been harder than you thought it was going to be to make this bring this thing to fruition, or is it just is it flowed for you?
Well, no, it took time. It took time. There was like getting all the content together, and then plus John he goes back and he redoes the filming. He redoes the film. He makes it better for you to watch. He and everything. So it's a lot of time to it, and it's coming along real well. Everything, Rome wasn't built overnight, and it just takes, it just takes time, and it's building, it's growing every day. It's getting stronger and stronger and stronger. So, we started back in September 9th was when we launched it, and it's been going ever since, nonstop. It's been going good.
Did you expect to get as many different wrestling promotions and wrestling content? Did you expect that, or has it kind of been unexpected how much wrestling content and different companies y'all have on board with Genesis now?
I figured that it would go, but I didn't know how well, but it has surprised me at the ones that, at everybody that came aboard and been a part of it, and I'm really thankful for it, and I'm real pleased with it.
Right. I got a graphic here I'm gonna pull up of the Genesis TV and show people where they can download it and stuff. Let me get it pulled up, and you can tell them too, Rodney. Wherever they can find it. Hold on, there we go. Let me get the right thing up.
Oh yeah, man, there it is, right there. Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely free. There's no subscription needed. You need no money to get this. It's absolutely free. If just about all the TVs now has built in with a Roku in it. And it's already got. All you have to do is go to the search engine, and the same way with the Amazon Fire Stick. Go to the search engine, type in Genesis TV Network. and you'll see that logo right there with the TV and the remote and it read, you download that. When you download it, you're in business. All you got to do is go to that, pop it on. You got the live streaming channel that's 24 hours or something streaming on there, different 24 hours a day. And then you got your on demand stuff that's listed on there as well. And it's a little bit of something for everyone on there, and it's absolutely free, and it doesn't cost anything, and it's available on Amazon Fire Stick, on the Roku, where you got the little box. If your TV does not have Roku,
Right.
in it, and you could get the little box, which ain't like maybe $30 or less, with tax and all at Walmart. And you get that, hook it up to your TV, and you could download Genesis TV Network, and you'll be in business. You can watch and keep up with it. You can keep up with Buster Unmasked on Thursdays at 10, Wrestling with your locals on at 7 on Sunday morning Central Time, and plus we got like growing up, we had Saturday morning cartoons. On Saturday morning, we got cartoons, Saturday morning cartoons. And then from 10 until 12, we have Glory Days of Wrestling. And then we have CWA Championship Wrestling, which we'll be having new episodes in the next week or so of that. That will be airing from 10 to 12.
Right, man. It's a cool thing for all of us, for sure. It helps put more eyes on us than we've had before ever. Man, it's like it says right there, no subscription needed, because I've had people ask me that too. Does it cost anything? It's absolutely 100% free. And there's a lot of good stuff on it. Dude, I find myself watching the Saturday morning cartoons myself, man, because you can't find some of them old cartoons out there.
No more.
That's the Saturday mornings I grew up on right there, dude. I catch myself late at night. I'll stop on one, I'll play one, and hell, I done looked around. It's 40 minutes later. I ain't done nothing but watch cartoons, man.
I know. Yeah, it was Saturday morning cartoons and 11 a.m. on WMC TV. It was Memphis Wrestling from 11 to 12:30. That was it, and then it was Long Ranger after that. After
right.
That was it. That was my Saturday. If I missed wrestling on Saturday mornings, and then on Friday nights, like I said, Levon Stone, he had wrestling there in Corinth. I go on Friday nights and watch that. Saturday morning wrestling out of Memphis, on Channel 5. If I missed any one of those, it was going to be a bad week. You understand what I'm saying? It was going to be a bad week. I mean, that's just the way. And then I went to Mid-South Coliseum, Boo Koodles. I mean, just all the time, and it's and what's bad about it is today's generation, they just don't know. They will never know how we grew, how it was back then. They won't know. They'll never
right. Know. Look, man, I almost quit Pee Wee football. They started making us, we lost a couple of games back to back. So they started making us practice on Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
Man, I come that close to quitting, man. They got us practicing from like 10 to 1. And I finally, my coach could tell something was wrong with me. He's like, what's going on with you? And he thought it was just because it was a Saturday. I'm like, man, no, y'all got me missing wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's like, you'd rather be home watching wrestling? I kind of looked at him like, I hate to tell you, but dude,
yeah.
We got to start winning, because I can't practice on these Saturday mornings.
Yeah. A lot of times people ask me, how did you get the name Mega Man? Because I went, go Rodney, Mega Man Grimes, that's right. How did you get that? Well, years ago when, WWF, they were doing the Saturday night main event, you remember when Hogan and Savage got together and they did the Mega Powers?
Right.
They did the Mega Powers. I said, okay, they're the Mega Powers. Well, I'm the Mega Man. And that's how I came up with it. And then so I made a shirt that, with that on there, and I started wearing it around. And in school, that's how everybody started, that's how I got my name. That's how I built up with Mega Man. That's how I got that name, is because of that, of Savage and Hogan being Mega Powers. I said, well, if they Mega Powers, then I'm be Mega Man. And
there you go.
But when I started out wrestling, I was the roughhouse white boy. And they Lee and them gave me that name because I was small and I was rough and I was tough. And they said, well, okay, we're gonna call you Rough House White Boy. So that was my first name, and then I switched over to Rodney Mega Man Grimes. That was me from then on.
Right. So let me ask you this, dude. When you I mean, you like me. I growed up as a kid, loving like pro wrestling, Channel 5. That's my first memories of wrestling. Period. I mean, some of my first full cognitive memories of watching TV is pro wrestling Saturday morning. Back then it was 11 to 12:30 at that time. Growed up on that. So let me ask you this: you the same way, and you didn't break into the business till what? What'd you say? Right after high school?
Yeah, after high school. Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you this: from growing up as a fan, and then growing up, becoming a high schooler, graduating high school, and starting the business. When you first got in the business, was it what you expected, or was it different than you expected it to be?
No. It was what I expected. Of course, years ago, my sister, she wrestled some, and I used to go to the matches and watch her work, in the ring and stuff. Of course, she didn't do it as a level like I did,
Right.
But she did it, locally and stuff. And I got to, watch and be around that. So that kind of helped train my mind, and stuff.
Yeah, you had some exposure to the actual business.
Yeah, it was a little bit. It was a little bit, but it wasn't a lot. I mean, it was a little bit, but I kind of read between the lines and kind of picked up on stuff. And like I said, the whole time, since I was a kid, I was learning my craft. Whether it was on TV, whether I went to the matches, I didn't care what matches. It could have been any match in the ring. I was learning. I was constantly learning, and so when I actually started getting in the ring and working, and I started going wherever I could, no matter where I could, I went, and then I started getting experience. Every time you went, you get experience, and no matter what it is, you get experience. It could be a bad experience or it could be a good experience, but most of them been good experiences. But that's pretty much how things went and transpired, and it just counterpunted, and it just went on.
Yeah, man. Like earlier, you said that you like to go and work with as many different people as you can. And man, here's the thing, as well as I do, in the ring, everything to do with pro wrestling out in front of these people is built on timing. Yes. Whether it's you and your opponent, whether it's just you and the fans timing something perfectly. And it's hard to learn. It's hard to learn timing when you work with the same people over and over. You can learn their timing, but this is the wrestling business. You're liable to be thrown in there with anybody at any time, and you need to kind of learn how to work with anybody.
Yes, most definitely. Definitely. You have to learn. You have to pick up, and it's it's something that I always tell these guys. I said, don't get comfortable and work the same guy night after night. You're only going to get better working somebody different, somebody a little bit better than you are, somebody more veteran than you are. Always try to work somebody different, try to have different, not work the same guy. Yeah, right. I work the same guy over and over. We better have a good match, because, I always tell that, always get out, work different guys, work guys with more experience, veteran guys. If you get a chance, get in there, because you ain't going to learn nothing sitting on the sideline, And
that's right, man. I mean, like you said early on, especially when you first break in, man, it's a kind of close your mouth, open your ears and eyes type business. Watch and listen, and you'll learn a hell of a lot by just watching and listening.
Oh yeah, and then and it's just it's I was fortunate enough to come up when I did and learn it like, way I did and how I did. I was able to be on I was on Memphis TV. I was on KW, one time, a couple of
Right.
I managed Brick House, a few times up there. And, I've done, for me, I'm happy. I'm satisfied. I wasn't looking for no WWF back then, but Memphis is that's what I wanted. And it all could end today, and I'm happy. I'm satisfied with what I've been able to do. What little I've done.
Right. Well, I mean, you've accomplished a lot, man. Like I said, you've done everything. Every position there is to hold in the wrestling business, you pretty much held it. You've worked with all the stars. Either you've worked with them or they've eventually worked for you. And that brings me to your show. You're talking about your TV show going to debut. Are you going to be interviewing wrestlers?
I'm gonna be interviewing not only wrestlers. I'll be interviewing coaches. I'll be a little bit. I'll be interviewing all kind of guests on there. Not just wrestlers, but all kind of guests. Coaches, entertainers, you name it. I'll have a little bit of everything on there. It's just going to be a show, different and unique. It's just not going to be just wrestling. It's going to be outside the box, if you will.
But I'm thinking with your connections and as many people as you probably get some of the best interviews from some of the legends in pro wrestling, dude.
Oh yeah, man. It's going to be good. I think it'd be interesting for for the fans, for anybody to watch.
Right.
And I think it will be something that I'm working on, and hopefully, we can get this thing up and off and going in the next 2 or 3 weeks and get it rolling.
Yeah, I'm anxious to check it out, dude. I'm anxious to see the product, man.
Oh yeah, man, yeah. But talking about some of the guys that have worked for me, Jackie Fargo, he actually, he come and worked for me in Ripley, Mississippi, back years ago. This was like a year or two before he passed, and he come in, and actually that was the last time he'd been in this area, and you may say worked. I didn't mean get in the ring. I mean,
right.
He managed me and Lawler. Me and Lawler went against Don Bass and Bobby Eaton that night, and that was the last time. And just stuff like that. I go back and I look on and I said, you know what, that could never happen again. It's something that's very special and very dear to me. Like Dusty Rhodes coming into Selma.
Right.
Guys like that. It's just you got Tracy Smothers. He was a hell of a worker. He was. I think he's very underrated. I think.
Yeah, he is. He's.
Yeah.
To me, man, especially when you go back and watch some of Tracy's stuff when he first started, man, he was a hell of an athlete too. He's a hell of a talent, hell of a hand in the ring early on, man.
Yeah, he was. He was. And right before Tracy passed, he came out with his book. His book, Tracy's Mother. I don't know. Have you got the book? Have you read the book?
I have not, dude. I have not.
It is a good read. It is something to get. And you know what? I'm very happy. I'm fortunate that anybody would think of me. But in this book, you can open it up, and right as you open it up, it's got right here on page 3. It's got the dedication right here. This is what the book was dedicated to these guys. You got guys on here like Jerry Lawler, Kevin Sullivan, Bill Eadie, Ole Anderson, Jim Cornette, of course, Don Bass, Roger Smith, Bob Armstrong, Paul Lee, Tom Pritchard, and Tom Henry. And right after Tom Henry, you got my name, Rodney Grimes, in there.
That is awesome.
That means a lot, and I appreciate anybody think to put me in his book, and I hold dear to that, and I tell everybody. Of course, I've been in several books. I've been featured in several books. I was in Handsome Jimmy's book, and then I was in this one, and then there was a book that just came out this year, the history of Mississippi wrestling. Uh,
I seen the dude promoting it when he
yeah,
went to
yeah,
EW and stuff. I seen that, man.
yeah. I'm in that, and you know, and then there was one in '98 or '7. Of course, I don't have a copy of it. It's called Duck and Royals Title Histories. I'm in it. My promotion's in it. Of course, I was in Pro Wrestling Illustrated. You know, where they listed, you know, the town and my name.
Right.
And and I'm fortunate. I'm glad. I'm happy. You know, anybody would think that much of me to put them in their book. You know,
No,
and
that's super cool, dude, man. I mean, I there ain't many people who get that accolade from other people, man. That's awesome, especially to be in 3 books, three different superstar wrestlers books. Man, you can't beat that. That's a hell of an accomplishment, dude.
oh man, you know, and a small guy from Corinth, Mississippi, and you know, to do what I did, I take pride of it, and I I really am proud of what I've done. You know, for this
Here,
area, trying to keep things going.
right. Well, here recently, you had a birthday here a couple months ago, and I seen Mick Foley
Yeah,
sent you
yeah,
some
Mick.
birthday wishes,
Yeah,
dude.
Mick. Yeah, sure did. Mick Foley, he did. He sure did. Mick Foley, real good friends with Mick. He's real good. Uh, he sent in that and everything. So you know, I really am. You know, there was a lot of them that reached out to me and you know and text me and called. You know, wish me a happy birthday, which I'm grateful for it. You know, I really am. You know, time don't slow down for nobody. And
Right.
these old years, they keep they click up and they add up before too long, and they're starting to add up, you know.
Yeah,
But
whether you want to not or not, they keep clicking right along, man.
oh man, do they? Yeah, they sure do. But you know, I'm doing good. I feel good. I'm getting around. You know, I'm doing. You know, and I just thank the good Lord. You know, I'm still able to do it. You know.
Right, right. Well, Rodney, man, I appreciate you so much for coming on, dude. It's been my pleasure. Like I said, since we very first talked about getting on the Genesis Network, man, it's been in the back of my mind, this interview, dude, and we're here. It finally happened, dude. You're an interesting guy, man. You're an influential guy in the wrestling business, especially around our area.
Well, I appreciate it. You know, we spent more time talking about wrestling than Genesis, which you know, hey, that stuff happened. But Genesis TV Network, it's good. If you haven't download it now on Roku, Fire Stick, absolutely free. Check out Buster Unmasked on Thursdays, 10 Central Time, and then we got the another podcast that's really good at 7 on Sunday mornings, Wrestling with Locals, and
Right.
of course, we got all kind of stuff on there. But man, yeah, I really enjoy being on here. You know, we could continue talking all night about this. You know, about all
Right.
stuff and everything. But I really enjoyed it. And one thing I want to mention, you probably I don't know if you see my hat or not, but the Cauliflower Alley Club.
Right.
It is a good organization. You know, you pay that the dues, and then this year is the 58th Cauliflower Alley annual convention there in Las Vegas, there at the Plaza Hotel and Casino. You can pick your tickets up there on the online caulifloweralley.org. It's really a nice, great convention to go to. It is top notch. You've got Joe Dombrowski, you got Jimmy Hart and Medusa, Michelle. They MC over at the convention on the nights, and you got Brian Blair there that's over the Cauliflower Alley Club. And this year it's going to be the 19th and I think it's the 19th through the 20th of August. It's like a Monday through Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I believe that. I believe that's right. I haven't got my notes with me. I got excited and I lost them. But you can go on there. You can go on there and get it. I'll be there. Genesis TV Network will be there this in August there in Vegas. It's always a fun time, and there's a lot of great people in it. It's for a good cause. They do a lot of good work. They help a lot of people out and everything. So if you get a chance, check it out and become a member, you know, and come on down to Vegas and check that out. But I just want to give that plug out because I really am honored to be a member of that, and they do a lot of good work.
Right, and it's in Vegas every year, right?
Every year, in Vegas. It's at the Plaza Hotel and Casino. It's like the old part of town. They're right across from the Gold Nugget. It's right there, and they have it like on the Monday, Tuesday, and then the Wednesday is the last day of it. I think it's like let's see, this year. Let me get my note. I found my notes here. Okay. Yeah, it's the well, flip it over here. Okay, it's the 19th through the 21st this year. It's the
Okay.
58th annual Cauliflower Alley Club. And like I said, they help out a lot of people that's in need. You remember Mr. Harris, Kamala?
Right.
They help get his help with him when he got his legs amputated due to diabetes. They help Tracy. I think they help Tracy Smothers, and they help Brick House.
Right.
And they help a lot of people. I mean, they not just them, but they help a lot of people, and that's in need. And it's for a very good cause. Very good cause.
Well, man, let me ask you something now. Talking about Brick House, I worked with
Yeah.
Brick House a lot at KAW, and then even after KAW, for Crazy Luke Graham Jr. and Galaxy Championship Wrestling in Little Rock, I worked with Brick House a lot, but I hadn't seen him for years and years, and I never got to see him again in person until after he passed. How quick did he go down, man? Was it a gradual thing? Because I mean, of course, now it was 2002, the last time I'd actually got to talk to Brick House in person. And then the next time I seen him, it was actually him at the Cauliflower Alley Club. It was just on video. He'd actually already died by then, by the time I seen it. But what was the deal with that? Is it something that just came out of nowhere and just ate him up, or is it something that he knew was going on for a long time?
Well, Brick House, I had a wrestling event. It was for the fair there in Ripley, Mississippi, and Brick House worked the show. Come in and worked it for me. He worked. I believe it was Dustin Starr that night. And Brick House told me after it was over with, he said, "Rod," he said, "this is my last show." I said, "Oh, Brick House, this ain't your last show." I said, "You're going to get in there every time you can." I said, "That's the blood. That's in our blood. That's just us. We're going to get in there, and you'll be in there." I said, "You might take some time off, but it'll never get out of your blood. You'll get back in there because you've been doing it too long." He said, "No," he said, "this is probably my last match." He said, "This is it." And at that time, I don't know if he knew that he had it then or not, because it wasn't too long after that I had heard he had got diagnosed with it. And then it seemed like it hit him pretty good. And
Right.
And the last time I seen Brick House, he had lost a lot of weight and he was having a lot of problems. We was in Crenshaw, Mississippi, and Reggie B. Fine was there, and Mad Dog. I don't know if you remember Mad Dog.
Yeah.
He was there. I mean, they did a benefit for him. There, Oscar Barlow and them there at the fire department in Crenshaw. And of course, they did benefits for him, I think, in Memphis and stuff, around to try to help him and stuff. And then they had that one, and that was the last time I got to see Brick. Hey, I talked to him on the phone. He would call me and talk to me. He said, "Hey, Rod, I just called and see how you're doing." I called him back. And Brick House, he was a good guy. I like Brick.
Right. Man, I do too. I love working with Brick House, man. But like I said, last time I seen him, he was normal, swole up Brick House. And then, Then when I actually seen him, I was flipping through YouTube and seen the Cauliflower Alley thing. And I went right on by it at first. And then I thought, man, that looked like Brick House. And then I flipped back and realized it was, man. And he had done, by the time I had seen him there, he had done gotten small compared to what he was, man.
It hit Brick House, and it hit him, and it took a toll on him, and everything. But the day that he passed, I was in Pigeon Forge. I was up in Tennessee. I was on vacation in Pigeon Forge, and I had gotten word that day that Brick House had passed away, and that was the same day Brian Christopher passed away too. And then found out, Nikolai Volkov. They all three passed in the same day. And man, tell you what, that hit me hard because Brian, I love Brian. I like Brian. Brian was good. that hurted, and Brick House, that hurted me too. But man, it just it just floored me. And Brick House, I know he was in bad health, and I know that time was not on his side.
Really.
He was having to, but Brian, just that was out of left field.
Yeah, I don't think nobody seen
Uh,
that one coming like
no.
it happened, man. I just don't, dude.
And years ago, when Brian did the Too Sexy thing, coming out doing that with the red wagon and all that, I like, that's what I wanted, me and him to team up. And I had jackets made, red jackets. The Too Sexy Express, I had my name on mine, his on his. We never did get the team up. He come and worked for me once on the show, or a couple of times, but we never did get to. We would, he was the one that got me into bodybuilding, working out. And
Right.
there used to be a bar called Tiger's Milk Bar. It was a protein bar.
Right.
And he got me eating them things. He said, protein, that's what you need. Eat anything you can to protein while you're lifting, And them Tiger's Milk bars, I ate them. Of course, he had them and all, but we never did get the team up. And he worked for me. But, Brian could have been so much more. He was so talented. He was so very talented.
Man, I was just fixing to say that, man. He is, because the Too Sexy is the Brian Christopher, will always be my favorite version of Brian Christopher. Mm-hmm. The original version of Brian Christopher, man. The attitude, the music, man. At that time, I was training, still training to wrestle. And we'd go to the Coliseum every Monday night and set up in the thing where the wrestlers sat sometimes, and just watch the show every week, man. And man, Brian and Miss Texas, dude.
Oh, Miss Jackie. Oh man, I love
Lord Jesus, she is one of the baddest, toughest women around. Because at this time, every week, Brian was slinging her around by her hair, body slamming the hell out of her, and she was right back up every time. Super tough, super talented lady, man.
Oh man, Miss Texas. I seen her a couple of years ago. I seen her in Charlotte, and then she was in at the Cauliflower Alley Club year before last. And she's always the same. Nice. I love Miss Jackie. I loved her. When we was at the big one, Miss Texas, she was always at the Coliseum. She always nice. And I'm gonna tell you what, you talking about being tough. I'll tell you another one that was tough. That was Miss Linda, Adrian Street's wife. Now,
right.
She's tough. Now that cat right there is tough. Now I'm telling you, she's tough. And Adrian Street, he's good friends with Adrian Street. I like him. I miss him. We've lost a lot of good ones over the years.
Right, man. Everybody's really aging. Everybody I grew up on and idolized in the wrestling business are all aging out now.
Yeah.
Even us, dude. I'm aging out the wrestling business myself. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing here, dude.
But you stop and think, okay, back years ago when I was promoting, okay, I could call Donnie, I could call Coco, I could call Dutch, I could call these guys, Bill Dundee. A lot of them ain't around no more. It's very, it's a lot of them. It's just if you went to book and you wanted old school Memphis, there's not very many out there you could call that's able to climb in the ring or will climb in the ring anymore.
Right. I don't think Lawler will be back in the ring.
No.
I mean, I'm sure he'll be at some conventions and different stuff, but I don't ever see him back in the ring. And for him, that's got to be a blow because Lawler probably wrestled more matches than anybody in the damn history of wrestling, maybe.
Oh man, Lawler is. There'll never be another one like him. I mean, he's Lawler. He's worked for me before. We've teamed together. We've won the CWA tag team titles. I've never got to wrestle him. I always wanted to wrestle him, but I won't. That won't happen now. I always thought that would be so cool. I thought that would be neat. But Jerry. I hope he can get back in the ring, but really, he's done it all, man. Jerry's done it, and you name it, he's done it. And there's nobody that can hold a track record to him. I don't know of anybody. I don't see anybody to this day that can hold a track record to Jerry Lawler around here.
Man, I'll be honest with you, it ain't just around here. Lawler, here's the thing. All right, Ric Flair was more of an athletic champion and wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Lawler was up here, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everything he does, he's a master at just the wrestling business and manipulating the people, getting them to do and see exactly what he wants to see. Look, Doug McKay made a remark a year or so ago. I made a post about Lawler because, truth be told, Lawler's my favorite wrestler. He's the dude for me, man. I think, and after I got in the business, I growed more respect for him because then I realized how good he really is at this, man. Like he's untouched at this. But Doug said, I said something about one of Lawler's matches, and he said, yeah, he said, but Lawler had the ability to make you see things that didn't happen. And he did. He's like a magician almost, man.
Oh yeah, I mean he's got. I mean, it's amazing, you know, and you can learn a lot from him. You know, you can. I mean, you can learn a lot, but there's only one Jerry Lawler, and that's all it's going. That's all it's going to be. And matter of fact, here in next month in Henderson, Jerry Lawler's going to be in Henderson there for the Tennessee Championship Wrestling. He's going to be there, so I'm going to go up there and see Jerry. First time I've seen him since before he had his stroke. You know, I spoke to him, but get to see him. So that's for the Carl Perkins thing they do, raising money for the Carl Perkins Center there, and in Henderson there at the schoolhouse. He's going to be there, and that's the first appearance that I know of since he's done here around here close. Well, he done one in Memphis. You know, he in Memphis at the Liberty Bowl that time. But far as that's the first time that I know of that Jerry's getting out, and that's good. I hope he can continue improving and go to more conventions and stuff. You know, people love to see how he's doing.
Right, and that's going to be a huge show in Henderson for TCW, man. I've seen some of the flyers, man. I want to say Doug Gilbert's going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
A ton of local talent from around the Mid-South area is going to be there. Going to be a big show, man, a big thing, especially with Lawler there making an appearance. It's going to be a show to remember.
Oh, man, most definitely. You know, talking about Doug Gilbert, Tommy Gilbert. You know, Tommy Gilbert, he worked for me, too, several times. Tommy and I teamed with Tommy, me and Tojo, and a 6-man in car in. And then, of course, Tommy, he come in and he done a special guest referee with Doug and Brickhouse when they had their feud. I mean, Tommy was a good guy. I love Tommy Gilbert. He was down to earth. He was always good. Doug has always been good to me. You know, and I call them, they were, always been good to me. All of them have,
Right.
There's very few that, you have them, that you could take them or leave them type deal, you may say. But over the majority, I'm very blessed of everyone that I've crossed paths with and have made friends with and has worked for me.
Yeah, you can make some good friends. You can also make some good enemies too in the wrestling business.
That's in anything,
Right.
But man, yeah, I like I said, if everything ends tonight, I am happy. I got to live my dream and got to do what I want to do. I'm still living my dream. I got the TV channel, I'm working on day in, day out. And, that's another goal or dream that I have. And I'm not, who knows? I'm not really done. Might not be done with wrestling. You know what I'm saying? I might still have the itch, which I always will have. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Can't never tell when CWA Championship Wrestling might pop back up again.
I don't think you ever, if you loved it and love it, I don't think you ever get it out of your system. You may age out of being in the ring, but you still want to be around the business and do something involving it,
Yeah, most definitely. Like in Pocahontas, I was up there. I was helping do the booking for Alan Stone and Misty, Don Bass's daughter. It's been 3 or 4 years ago, probably 4 or 5 years ago, because time goes by so quick. But I was doing the booking up there, and I got to do. I ain't gonna got everything built up to where I was privileged enough to where I could team with my son, and that was with Brandon Grimes, and
Right.
also we teamed for a few matches and everything. So that was a blessing. I was able to do that. And but it's just like I said, I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed. And,
Well, look, let's talk about Brandon for a few minutes, because I've actually got him coming on the podcast the end of March. I want to say maybe it's the 26th. Let me get my book out, and I'll be able to tell you exactly when it is. It's actually on a Tuesday night, March 26th, man. I got Brandon coming on, and dude, I've been checking him out, and he's a different kind of cat, man.
Yeah,
his style is I like him, man. I like his look. I like some of the stuff he does, man. Talk to me about your son being in the business too, that you loved and made a mark in, man.
Yeah, I mean he's got his own style, his own persona, which is good, and it's something that he always wanted to do, because he would always come to the matches, and he'd always come and he would watch me, and that's something he wanted to do, and I'm real privileged and honored, that he would want to do that. But honestly, I wanted him to go to school, to college, to get a degree. You know what I'm saying? To get a degree where he makes some real money and everything. But he didn't.
I think all our daddies wanted that, man. My daddy wanted the same thing, but that ain't the road I took, man.
Yeah. Well, when I go fill out an application, down there they said, did you go to college? Okay, yeah. I put yes down because I went to college. I walked around for about 30, 40 minutes. I said, no, that ain't what I want to do. I wanted to wrestle. So I left, but I did go to college, Joe. I went for 30 or 40 minutes. I don't know if that counts or not, but, and the thing about it is with Brandon and a lot of the younger guys and stuff, there's, you got TV and stuff, but, you don't have many nights to hone your craft like what we was talking about earlier. You just got to Friday and Saturday, you might pick up a Sunday somewhere here. And, I just, that hurts a lot, a lot, not only Brandon, but a lot of the younger guys and stuff. And it's just, it's tough, but, he's done real good for himself. I'm proud of him. They got he's the Southern champion there in MIW there on Friday nights in Middleton. And he was just got awarded. I was up there a couple of weeks ago. They awarded him the most improved award for 2023, and that was an honor. And I was glad to see him. We was there to support him, and he's doing real good. He's got a good head on his shoulders, and he listens, and I'm very proud of him.
Yeah, he's super respectful kid, man. I mean, the interaction we've had, man, he's super respectful, super cool. I'm looking forward to talking to him, and getting him on the show. Like I said, he's a different kind of cat, man, and I like different cats, man. I like bringing them on and talking with them, because you don't never know what you're going to get, man.
Oh no. He asked me a few days ago. He asked me. He said, "Dad, I'm gonna be on the podcast. What do you want me to say?" I said, "Son, whatever you want to talk to him. Just go, just feed off. Just talk about, Buster. I mean, it's simple. Just sit, be calm, cool, and talk about whatever you want to talk about. You feed off of each other,
Right.
And
right.
Said, well, what should I say? I said, say, talk about whatever you want to. You feed off each other, And he'll say, he'll come up with something. Just, he says, yes. He ain't never done that. Actually, this is my first podcast.
Yeah, I could tell he was nervous just talking to him about doing it. You could tell in the back of his mind when I was asking him about it, it was like, do I really want to do this? But once we talked back and forth a couple times on a few messages, and everything was cool. Like I said, I'm looking forward to it, man. And it's going to be fun. That's what I told him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good show, man. we're gonna just talk like me and you've done, man.
Oh,
We
yeah.
might start out with how you got in the business, but once we get past that, it's just wherever the conversation takes us.
Yeah, man, yeah. Yeah.
Let me ask you something, Rodney.
Oh.
Before we get out of here, we got about
Okay.
15 more minutes before we got to start wrapping it up.
Okay.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let's go back to CWA, USWA. Do you think that we need one company around here that's at the very tip top of the wrestling to kind of? Here's the thing. I believe in wrestling, and I believe there's a pecking order in wrestling. And I believe there should be a pecking order in wrestling. What's your thoughts? Do we need a company that's above all the rest? And that here's the thing. My goal when I first got in the business, obviously you want to make it to the big time as big as you can get. But the first goal was to make it to Channel 5 TV, make it to Jerry Lawler's show. Do you think we need that around here? A company that does that, and not just that, but we need a company that works guys 3 and 4 nights a week minimum, I think. What do you think?
Yes, I do. I honestly do. I mean, you've got Dustin, and you've got Bluff City. They're doing good. But you need something that you can offer more nights where you guys and I think, yeah, I do. I honestly do. I think you need that one promotion that's the pinnacle of all the rest, and all the rest are building up, and the talent is building up to be on the top pinnacle of the best promotion there is. You may say they want to be the best.
As a wrestler, it gives you a goal. It gives you an unattainable goal. It's hard to break in wrestling here in Memphis, Tennessee, as a country kid, and your goal to be the WWF or WCW at the time. But Jerry Lawler, Channel 5, man, that's a big deal. That's what all of us growed up on. That is a goal that you can reach, and then once you reach that goal, that kind of, you hope, well, that'll lead you into the next step, WWF, WCW, somewhere else. That's the next step up from that. And here's the thing, our talent, we got a lot of good talent around this area. They just do not get to ply their trade enough to really get good.
No, they don't. They don't. I mean, like I said, it's just like the weekends. That's it. Saturday night. That's it. Or Friday night. That's it. After that, there is no. There's no more shows. And you got TV. I mean, you be exposed. You got Neil Taylor with EPW. They got a good thing going on in Boonville. Every Saturday night there at the EPW. Right. Then you got Dustin. He runs pretty regular there at his building that he's got in Memphis, with Memphis Wrestling. Then you got, Johnny Dotson that's running around West Memphis, Arkansas and around. I mean, you got TV and everything, but you just need more nights. You need more opportunities getting in the ring, and you need, that would help so much. Would help really so much. So you really need that one pinnacle promotion to where it all works. So, and I know it's hard, and I'm talking to the wall, you may say, but it'd be nice if everybody could work together. It ain't gonna happen. You're shaking your head, and I'll see you, and I know it's not gonna happen. But
that's a beautiful ass dream, Rodney. But know as well as I do, that's never, ever. And see, that's one thing that I liked about having USWA around here, because truthfully, if we had a company like that worked guys, where guys could actually make money hitting these towns, even if it's just $50 a show, if they were getting that 3, 4, 5 nights a week, it's something there, and you're getting that experience that you're never going to get working twice a week at the most. It's going to take you the same stuff you could learn in 2 years. It's going to take you 7 to really learn and get that much experience. And it's just, I just think we need, and not to mention, when you got a company like that, it weeds out a lot of the bad companies, because that is one thing that we have around our area. We have a bunch of good ones, but we also have some that, in my opinion, shouldn't be in business, shouldn't be running. And that's just the way it is. I hate to be that way, but It's the truth, man. Man, I did some rankings a year ago, and I went to going through, I ranked companies. And when I first started doing this, and I went to going through and trying to find all the wrestling companies around like Mississippi, Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee, just in like a couple of 100-mile radius.
Right.
Dude, I quit counting at 34 companies. And most of them were right around Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's oversaturated, dude. It's oversaturated.
It is, you know, and a lot of them, they see one do it or they see it on TV, man, I can do that. And it's more to it than that. It's more than just getting on Facebook and promoting it. I'm not saying not to do it, but you got to do all the legwork. You got to go to these, you got to go everywhere and put up handbills, put out posters. You got to put out handbills. You got to talk to each and every person you can, put it in their hand, tell them what's going on. Because if they don't know to come. You know,
right.
It's just in radio, it's just so much now. And it's just, and a lot of them don't have the money. You know, it's a lot of money to do that. And a lot of them just don't have the money. And a lot of them don't know. And if they did, they just don't have the money because they're just not putting it. They're just not going to put it out. They're not going to risk it. You know, right. It's a risk. I'll tell you.
No. Hey, look, that's one of the first things we were told when we broke into business, man. Pro wrestling's a rich man sport.
I mean, it is. It's a risk. You could win a lot. You could make a lot of money one night. Next night, you could lose it.
Right.
I mean, it's very easy. It's you know, you just have to be very careful. You have to be very careful.
Right.
But,
look,
you know,
we got Major Mayhem Wrestling with us. Says, what's going on, guys? What's up, Major Mayhem Wrestling? Glad you're watching, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in and checking us out, man. We're here. I'm here sometimes 14 times a week. No, I'm usually here a couple times a week at least, man. At least 2 usually every week. Rodney, dude, man, it has been my pleasure talking to you, man. It has 100% been a pleasure, man. I love talking to you about wrestling, Genesis TV, man. You're a very knowledgeable guy. That's what I like. I like talking to knowledgeable people about pro wrestling, man.
Oh man, I appreciate it. Now do you go to the PKA? What is it in Jackson? Do you go up there to?
I went to the first one. I hadn't been back yet because just time and issues. During the Christmas one, I didn't go because I still had family in, and I don't remember what happened on the last one. I had something going on. You know how that is. But I plan on going. Hopefully, this next one coming up on the 29th of March.
Yeah, next
week.
It's
29th of February.
February. It's next week.
Right.
Yeah, you know, they got a good card up there. I got Danny B and Chris Rocker and a whole host of others. You know, and I heard it's pretty good. I'm gonna go check that out too. I might be up there this coming Thursday.
Dude, it's a cool venue, man. Really, I love the venue, man. The Slide Ride Rodeo Arena, man. It's cool, man. It reminds me of would have been a perfect venue for KAW.
KAW, yeah, that's
right.
Good.
It would have been a perfect venue for that, man.
And who knows, Genesis TV might be there filming too as well. So you know, hey, you know, where I go, I always have a camera guy with me. So we might be there Thursday night, next Thursday night, not a week from this Thursday, the 29th, there in Jackson. But man, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Got a lot of good stuff coming up, and I really had fun tonight on your podcast. It was really, really good. It was really interesting. It was good sitting down and talking to you.
Right, man. Me too, man. Like I said, we've kind of known each other for years, but we really never had a conversation.
No,
you know?
We didn't. First one, I thought we hit it off pretty good. You know,
there you go, man.
Well, you know.
Me too, Rodney. Look, man, before we get out of here, tell everybody about Genesis TV one more time, where to download it and everything, dude.
Yeah, Genesis TV Network. No money's needed. No subscription. You can pick it up on Amazon Fire Stick, Roku. Just go to the search engine, type in Genesis TV Network. You'll see the little red logo with the TV and the remote. It says Genesis. Just download it. Hey, you're in business. You can watch and keep up with us. Keep Up with Buster, Unmasked, Thursdays at 10 Central Time on Thursday nights. And then, we got the Wrestling with Locals at 7 a.m. on Sunday. And of course, we got all kind of other neat stuff on there, like the Saturday morning cartoons. And we got wrestling from 10 to 12 on there. That's fixing to kick back up and have new episodes on there. So, hey, man, it's a big network, and we're adding every day new stuff to it.
Right. It's a really cool thing, man. It's cool. Like I said, it's really cool for guys like me who are doing this, man. It helps get us more exposure than we've had, man.
Man, and if everybody that's watching and listening and can hear my voice or see my face, if you don't mind, help spread the word. Help us get this. Tell us somebody. Tell us, hey, you need to check this out. This is what's happening today. This is it. Genesis TV Network, and let's make this thing real big. It's growing every day, but we want it bigger every day.
Rodney, dude, like I said, it's my pleasure, and you have a great night, my friend.
Man, you too. I appreciate it. Thank you, Buster.
Thank you. All right, y'all, you seen it right there. Rodney Grimes, Genesis TV Network. Go check it out. Like he said, Roku, Fire Stick. You can go to Genesis TV and download it right there. Download the website. You can get it, I guess, on your phone, pretty much anywhere. Like anything else nowadays, you can get it down near anywhere. Go check it out. Really cool thing. Cool channel. They got all kind of stuff, movies, cartoons, wrestling out the ass. Go check it out, man. And look, tomorrow night, Buster Unmasked is going to be, by God, greater and great, because I got the one and only Derek King with me tomorrow night. There is no telling what me and Derek's going to talk about, and you got to tune in at 7 p.m. for Buster Unmasked. And look, Thursday night, I got my man, Hollywood Little. He's going to be with me. He's making a big debut at APW in Marianna, Arkansas on February 24th. And he's going to be here Thursday night before that, and we're going to talk all about it. So do not miss it. Guys, I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. I appreciate everybody who interacted, everybody who watched us. Until tomorrow night, y'all take it easy.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.